When reliving experiences or having them come to mind, there's been times in my life when I've gotten very angry and people around me have said, "What's wrong with you? Why are you so angry?" Which made me angrier because they didn't understand that I was having a flood of memories come back to me. I was being bombarded by toxic cycles and scary people, abusive adults who wanted to control me as a child. One instance I had was after I had gotten sick from the Lyme disease, and my dad was taking me to school. And he said, "How are you today?" And I said, "I'm sick." And he instantly got angry at me because I replied with, "I have a fever and I shouldn't be going to school." And he refused to listen to me. And I said to him before I got out of the vehicle that the school would be calling him to come and get me. And in fact, I walked directly into the principal's office and said, "I'm sick." And she said, "What's wrong with you?" And I said, "I have a fever. I don't feel good." She said, "Go to the nurse's office." And they tried to call my dad, and this is when things went south for me. They started going south frequently for me because I started having tonsillitis and strep throat 6 to 8 times a year. I would run fevers. I would have co-infections. And I was seeing the nurse for Tylenol and for cough medicine and for things like that. And back in the day, you could walk into the nurse's office and get a cough drop or some Tylenol. But I was so sick that the nurse said, "You need to lay down on the bed." And the next thing you know, it's the end of the school day. And this happened frequently to me because when they would call my parents, they wouldn't answer. It was the day of the landlines when you had a regular landline phone. And the excuse was, "I didn't get your call. She's not sick. She's playing games. She's out of control. She's a bad child. We're not going to play her game." Did you know that long-term opioid addiction can cause problems if you've been treated for chronic pain or chronic illness and a doctor prescribes narcotics or opioids? Take it from someone who's had a lot of surgery. Years ago, my journey with opioid addiction started because my doctor offered me samples, and I had been in a car accident, and my back was hurting, and my back was hurting so bad that the doctor said, "It's all in your head. You don't need an MRI." Well, several months later, I ended up getting an MRI and needing to have back surgery because I had herniated discs and ruptured vertebrae, which were excruciating. The pain level was horrible. Long-term opioid addiction can cause multiple problems. And one of those problems is being scrutinized for being an opioid user. Even if it's the doctor giving it to you, they will scrutinize your need for those pain relievers. And the stigma surrounding that is huge. People in the community look at you like you're doing something wrong. But the vast majority of people that I know and have known, especially the elderly, this is something that they receive regularly. What is the problem with that? The problem is that opioids cause multiple issues within the body physiologically. One, you've got the addiction problem. 2, you've got the need to take the medication because you become addicted. 3, there's a high chance of overdose. And then there's the adrenal gland dysregulation and the shortness of breath and issues along the line with the stigma, which creates an issue for the person that takes the opioids. It's a circle of constant problems for the person taking the opioids. One time, I had to have surgery, and this was a few years into my journey with narcotics, taking them legally. And when I woke up in the middle of the surgery, the doctors were shocked, and I actually had a conversation with them. And then during recovery, I flopped on the table like a fish. And the attitude of the nurses and doctors was atrocious. They treated me like I was an alien, like I didn't come from the same planet. They were rude. They harassed me.